at ACC 2016, and I'm joined by Professor of Medical Statistics, Stuart Pocock, and we are here as part of the Cardiovascular Clinical Trialists Forum to discuss some clinical trial characteristics going on here at the conference. So Dr. Pocock, if we could just start, there's going to be a trial presented later this morning called Atmosphere, in which there were some interactions between the Data Safety Monitoring Board and the regulatory agencies involved in the trial. I don't know if you would care to comment on those interactions and how they have shaped the trial and what was maybe a little bit different about how this trial is working because of that.
Certainly. It was an interesting challenge as I sat as one of 5 members of the Data Safety Monitoring Board, that this trial of aliskiren in heart failure, other trials were coming out showing that in diabetic patients, the treatment didn't seem to do so well. There were certain safety issues. And therefore, we as a DSMB felt especially responsible for monitoring the data for diabetic patients within the heart failure trial. The regulators were doing this externally at the same time. The interactions were challenging and went a little astray because actually the regulators, the European Regulatory Agency, required that diabetic patients be removed from the trial. And I think this is an example where we need to improve interactions between regulators and data monitoring committees to avoid that sort of decision. And if we'd had a better dialogue, I think it would have been possible to complete the trial, including diabetics. And we've just published this experience in the New England Journal this week, and we hope it'll enhance better management of these situations in the future.
Excellent, thank you. Now, moving a little more broadly, at these type of late-breaking clinical trial sessions, what do you think are 3 questions or ways that people should be interpreting the data when they're sitting here listening to the presentations going on?
One basic issue is that people love to classify a trial as either being positive or negative. Unfortunately, often based on whether the significance level reached 0.05 or not, the p-value. And that's not a very good way of thinking about trials. We want a more rounded interpretation where we use statistical evidence to see what's the strength of evidence that this treatment is really superior, taking account of safety issues as well as efficacy issues. So I think people need to step back from the sales pitch of this trial is positive to looking at the details to see if the new treatment is on balance really an improvement in clinical practice. So there's a lot to learn about interpretation of data.
Excellent. And then we are here as part of the Cardiovascular Clinical Trials Forum. I don't know if you want to speak about what role that can have in moving clinical trials forward and helping people to understand the clinical trial process.
A great deal. This Cardiovascular Clinical Trials Forum is a great opportunity for people to have an update on the latest clinical trial evidence coming from a whole range of cardiovascular conditions, and also to debate some of the methodology that underpins how this trial's research is going, and to plot how we can do things better in the future. What direction should we be going in? What makes it particularly exciting is we have a whole range of disciplines attending this forum. There are obviously cardiologists and clinical trial experts, clinical experts. I'm a statistician, and a range of us statisticians join in the meeting too. And we get journal editors and industry as well, all debating what are the ways forward. And so I think more than one of us friends have said this is my favorite meeting of the year. It really has a broad forum to debate what the key issues are in cardiovascular trials.
So thank you. So what makes the Cardiovascular Clinical Trials Forum, the CVCT, so special?
I think it's to get all the lead players in the field, well, all would be an exaggeration, but many of the lead players in the field of cardiovascular clinical trials in the same forum at the same time. So you have a quality of interaction that's hard to achieve in other settings. I think it's a very exciting meeting. I look forward to being there every year. And for me, the bonus is I actually met my wife a cardiologist at the CVCT meetings about 6 years ago. So come, you never know what might happen to you.
Excellent, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you there in December. Thank you very much from ACC 2016.